Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the Connect with the Myeloma Crowd Chapter. My name is Audrey Burton-Bethke, and I am the Myeloma Crowd Community Manager. I'm going to pull up some slides for you today so that we can share them and make a couple of announcements, and then we will be able to get get started with today. I don't know why I just had a brain freeze right there. All right. So it says that I'm muted, but I don't think I am. I don't know what's going on. Let's get started. So this chapter is brought to you by the Myeloma Crowd Community by HealthTree. And this chapter was created so that we could introduce you to all the different programs that we've been working really hard this past year to build and improve for you. And throughout the year, we've talked about HealthTree Cure Hub and we've talked about HealthTree University. Today, we're going to be talking about the Myeloma Coach Program. And I'll be introducing the Myeloma Coach Program Director, Rosalind Height, in just a moment, who will be speaking to us today. This meeting will be recorded and sent out to all registrants 24 to 48 hours after the event has concluded. A special thanks to our sponsors, AbbVie, Bristol Myers Squibb, Amgen Oncology, Genentech, Karyopharm Therapeutics, Oncopeptides, Adaptive Biotechnologies, and Takeda Oncology. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Rosalind Height. As I said, she's the Myeloma Coach Program Director. She is the wife of myeloma patient Richard Height. She worked in healthcare for nearly 20 years as an occupational therapist. She's passionate about sharing resources and education that help individuals improve the quality of their lives. She and her husband are the parents of 3 busy, active teenagers. And I always say that if you know Roz, you love Roz because she is just one of the kindest, best souls, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her today. So, Roz, if you want to turn on, let's see, your camera, and so glad you could make it. We had some technical difficulties, but she made it. And let's get started.
Thank you, Audrey. I'm just going to say a prayer. There's no more technical difficulties. Thank you so much for your kind introduction, Audrey. I am just so grateful to join with you today and have the opportunity to share about the Myeloma Coach Program that offers personalized support, peer-to-peer support directly from myeloma patients and caregivers. So let's go to the next slide, Audrey. There we go. That personalized peer-to-peer support, we're so excited to be able to share about the coach program. We can move on to the next slide. First, I thought it would be helpful to share the history behind the program and how it came to be. So currently there are approximately 150 myeloma support groups nationwide. There's also around 140,000 individuals living with myeloma and 30,000 that will be diagnosed this year. So looking at those numbers, it's easy to see that only a fraction of individuals are really able to attend support groups. So what about everyone else? And what about those seeking personalized one-on-one support that they aren't able to get from a support group? Well, these were needs that were identified by Jenny Ahlstrom. She's a myeloma patient advocate, and you all are familiar with her as the founder of the HealthTree Foundation. And Jenny, as she was developing tools to assist myeloma patients, she realized that individuals would really benefit from having one-on-one support to use those tools effectively and efficiently to educate and advocate for themselves. And this led her to create the Myeloma Coach Program in 2018. Our website was officially launched in March of 2019. I had been working with the foundation as they were launching the HealthTree Cure Hub and was involved with that. And when Jenny approached me with the offer to come and become involved with developing the coach program, I just jumped at the chance because it really was something that I wished I would have had and wanted when my husband was diagnosed, was to be able to talk to someone who could really relate. So moving on, who is a myeloma coach? All of our coaches are either a myeloma patient or a caregiver who has experienced life with myeloma and really has the desire to give back. I'm so impressed by the coaches and their desire to give back, even while they're continuing their own myeloma journey, because they're all still in the thick of it and instantly desire to turn around and help make it easier for someone else. And I'm so touched by that. A successful coach has the ability to listen, to identify individual needs, and then to share resources, tools, or the personal experience that they've gained to help meet those needs. And this in turn empowers individuals to continue on educating and advocating for themselves. Coaches are volunteers, so their role is to teach and to share what they know and what they've learned, to guide you to resources and tools, and to encourage. And really, most importantly, in my opinion, to provide hope, because that hope is what's so essential. Coaches also really lead the way, and they're examples of how we can advocate for ourselves, and they help us gain the skills ourselves to research, to ask questions, and to seek out what's best for us or for our loved one. So once you register, how do you know how to coach? Well, once a coaches register, we provide all that they need. We have an online orientation that includes coaching basics, so courses on topics such as listening skills, conducting an interview, self-care, setting boundaries, or when to refer to a mental health professional. And then we also require all coaches to complete the Myeloma Basics courses in HealthTree University to really give a solid foundation with myeloma and know that everyone has a basic understanding of all of those fundamentals. Additionally, we offer ongoing coach education each quarter on a variety of different topics throughout the year. And I also gather the coaches together once a month. We have a connection group where coaches can meet, they network with one another, get to meet one another, to ask questions, problem solve, share resources, and it's a really supportive group. Twice a year, we host a semi-annual call with a myeloma specialist, and we have training that's provided from them. The pharmaceutical companies also provide updates on these calls with any new drug approvals or what's in their pipeline, and so that's really helpful also. We also offer a detailed resource database of resources for coaches to have access to and know and be able to find those and share those. And there's also access to a variety of myeloma education resources through the foundation, which many of you participate in with the roundtables and different chapter meetings, and there's just continually a flow of resources that are available to educate the coaches. Coaches who are actively engaged are invited to attend our annual Myeloma Coach Summit, and this is a really fun event that's hosted in Park City, Utah. And this is a time where they received targeted coach training, also network and get to meet their fellow coaches and receive education from myeloma specialists as well. So that's a really fun event and something that's highly anticipated. Also, coaches just share what they know. They're sharing the areas that they have experience in. And we'll talk more about this on the next slide, but your personal experience navigating myeloma prepares you to coach and to help other people based on what you've learned and the skills you've gained. Something else that's neat is coaches that have specific and focused experience in certain areas are also able to participate as a specialty coach in those areas. So we have certified HealthTree Cure Hub coaches, and we also have a financial coach group. Those individuals can provide expertise in those specific areas, which is great. So how does the program work? The program is all online, and individuals who are interested in volunteering as a coach can register. And when they do, they create a profile. That profile includes their photo, the location, city and state where they live. They can share about their personal myeloma story and the areas that they have experience in, whether they've had a stem cell transplant, they have experience staying physically healthy and experience with nutrition and exercise, or mental and emotional health, experience becoming your own best advocate with financial resources, health insurance issues, and also experience with specific treatments. If you're taking Selinexor or Blenrep or Darzalex, you can share your experience with others who may be beginning that treatment. Then individuals who are interested in working with a coach can review those coach profiles online. They can search for a coach by area of experience or by location, and then choose a coach that they feel is the best fit for them. All the connections are self-directed, so that's something that sets us apart. We don't assign coaches, you get to choose who your coach is. And then another aspect that is different than other programs is that individuals can work with more than one coach. Since each coach has varying areas of experience, you can choose a coach in each area that you have questions or needs. And then the communication is all per preference, whether it's in person, email, phone, text, or video chat. The way you communicate and the frequency and duration of your communication can just be determined by each individual patient and coach as they work together by identifying the needs and availability. We find that some coaching relationships are short. Sometimes people just need someone to talk to once or twice to just help them with some questions or just help them to understand everything when they're newly diagnosed. And other coaching relationships are more sustained and ongoing, and they keep in touch once a month. And then others we find just create lasting friendships that extend beyond the coach program, which is fun to see. So why work with a myeloma coach? Well, the one-on-one support allows you to really ask and seek for personally relevant questions and concerns. And that's often really hard to do in a group setting, but can be done so easily when you have that personalized relationship. Also, talking to someone who can personally relate makes a significant difference. Myeloma is so unique and not many can understand, as we all know. Whether you're a patient or a caregiver, it's unlike any other cancer. And so it's helpful to have someone who can speak specifically to myeloma. And also, myeloma is so overwhelming. There's so many helpful tools and resources that are available, but that itself can really be exhausting and overwhelming and hard to be able to find what's personally relevant to know where to look. So working with a coach who's been there really can help empower you to ask questions by first identifying what questions you need to ask, and then enter a path to begin advocating for yourself. Again, myeloma is so unique for each individual, and to navigate it successfully, you really need to advocate for what's right for you personally. So having a coach can help with those things. Education and knowledge really do empower us, and the more we know, the better we can advocate for our best care and really have a better quality of life. And coaches can help with that, and coaches can share what has helped them live fully with myeloma, which is huge. And also, when you work with a myeloma coach, you join in our community and really are reminded and know that you're not alone. And to me, this is so significant and makes such a big difference, because I know when my husband was diagnosed, we felt completely overwhelmed, scared, and isolated. And just to know that you have support and you're part of a community really can make all the difference. That encouragement and, like I said, hope, it really is the key to a successful path. Well, why become a coach? Evidence shows that helping others can also benefit our own mental health and well-being. So as that quote describes, those social connections are the most powerful way for us to regulate our own emotional distress. It really can, and that connection can reduce stress as well as improve your mood, self-esteem, and your happiness. So as Audrey shared, my husband Richard was diagnosed with myeloma he was only 39. That was just 6 years ago this month. And as everyone, we were completely overwhelmed, scared. He became depressed, was discouraged, really feeling hopeless. And we'd go to the infusion room and he would just even get more discouraged. That was just a depressing place for him. Everyone was in their own little sections and it felt dreary to him, and it was so quiet and everyone kept to themselves and everyone just looked sad. And he decided he was going to mix it up. He's a very social person, and he decided he was going to start bringing prizes. And he got donations, and he decided to have a raffle. So he started going around when we were there, and he would just meet everyone. He'd go talk to every person that was in the infusion room. And have them pick a number so they could participate in the raffle to get a prize. And in the process, he'd get to know them. And as he went along, he would share what he'd learned. And especially after his transplant, he'd share his experience, what he learned, what had helped him. And it really became therapeutic for him because he felt like he was making a difference. And that helped him feel like his experience was worth something. And I saw that and saw the difference it made in him and the benefits of that service. But then I wanted to become involved in the coach program, as I said, because I saw the difference it made on both sides, really. So for him in the giving, and in giving he received, and for me in talking to someone who could relate, I didn't feel as isolated or alone. Becoming a coach allows you to do just that and have those experiences my husband had, to have a connection with the community. And that connection can be so therapeutic, knowing you're making a difference with what you've gained from myeloma. And it can help you keep perspective, and it just helps you to know that your experience is worth something too. And making a difference in another's life is so rewarding. So we've made a short video that I'd like to share. It provides an overview of the program, and hopefully it will allow you to put it all together and just see again, like how it all fits. You'll be able to hear from some coaches and hear what made them decide to become a coach, some of our real life coaches, and have a better understanding. So we'll play that now.
The Myeloma Coach Program is a free service offered by the HealthTree Foundation to provide personalized peer-to-peer support. The program is open to all myeloma patients and caregivers and is easily accessible through our website. Myeloma Coaches are a myeloma patient or caregiver who wants to give back by sharing what they've learned to help make it easier for others. To become a coach, you can register on our website. Coaches commit to volunteer 8 hours a month for up to a year. When registering, coaches create a profile that includes the areas that they have experience, their location, photo, and more about their personal myeloma story. They also receive initial and ongoing training and support. If you are interested in working with a coach, you can register on our website. You will be given access to view all of the coach profiles. You can then select one who has experience in the areas you are seeking. Connections are made directly on the website. Once connected, you can communicate with your coach in the way that works best for both of you. By phone, email, text, video chat, or in person.
The first day that I was diagnosed, the head of the oncology radiation department in Ogden said that I needed to sell my bikes, throw away my running shoes, that my life was over as I knew it. But I looked at her and I thought, well, this is going to be treatable because I'm going to be around, and number two, you don't know who you're talking to. And since then, I've ridden in a bike race. I mountain bike on a regular basis. And I just want to encourage other people who maybe have gotten bad advice that this is treatable and that their life can be good and can be very helpful to other people.
I think someone else should become a coach so that they stay connected with resources to help them understand their own disease and the advancements that are forthcoming, and to just be there to help other people, because when you help other people, it makes you feel good.
Now I was putting myself back in charge by learning about my disease, where I was gaining back my physical, but my mental still wasn't there. And I was learning that it was giving me my mental charge back. And it's like, wow, okay, so I can learn about my disease, I can educate others, I'm empowering myself.
The coaching program is great because people want to know what to expect in a stem cell transplant, what to expect with different drugs they might have, what different treatments they might have. Is it advisable to stay with my normal oncologist, or should I go to a specialist? And I think that's what coaches can help with. And again, really a coach is there to listen and find out what they're thinking.
I'm not scared anymore, and knowledge is power. And so this is just kind of adding fuel to why I wanted to coach. The positivity was the initial aspect of it, to spread a positive attitude, but it became much deeper in understanding how HealthTree is helping the research and helping us towards a cure, and how not only do we need to help people, you know, mentally, physically, and whatnot, but we all need to help each other towards that cure.
Thank you, Audrey. I love that video because it just puts everything all into perspective. And I just love hearing from the coaches themselves about why they chose to become a coach and what it's done for them. And I love what Angela says, you know, when you help other people, you just feel good. And I love being involved with the coach program. I learned so much from everyone in the whole community, from the coaches, from the patients, as we're all working together really to the same effort, just to educate ourselves and advocate and to be as empowered as we can to face myelomas. We're all in this together. And I'd love to answer any questions that anyone has about the program. If there's any specifics, and also just encourage people, if you're interested at all, or would like to talk to me directly, Audrey will share my contact information, and you're always welcome to email me, to call me. We'll share our 800 number where you can call if you have questions on either side about becoming a coach or working with a coach.
Awesome, Roz. Thank you. And I love that video too. I feel like it's such a testament to the Myeloma Coach Program. And I love what he says about, if you've been given bad advice, we're here. Because I feel like that's common, you know, just as we were talking about earlier, how unique myeloma is and how difficult it can be to navigate, because while it's wonderful that we have so many resources, you know, compared to, you hear patients that started 50 years ago, their journey, and there was like 2 drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we're at the point where it's crazy world out there with myeloma, and lots of misinformation is given. So I love that one of the purposes of the coach program can be navigating through all the different advice and helping, obviously not giving medical advice, but helping them navigate through all of the resources.
Exactly. That can be overwhelming. My husband used to say that, or well, not used to say, when he was diagnosed and he's getting all this information, and he said, it's just like I'm trying to drink from a fire hose. And he had no medical background. He was so overwhelmed by it all. And you just need someone to help you put it all together. And so that's where it can be so helpful to know you have someone to call to help ask questions, and even just, you know, a listening ear too. That's makes such a big difference to someone that can understand and empathize personally. So
yeah, thank you.
mm-hmm.
We're excited that Roz is going to be able to answer some of your questions today. And I know that there's, she did a great job explaining it. And then there's also going to be some questions that you have that we're able to answer at this time. We have a couple questions coming in already, Roz. So one of them is, are you able to pair up with similarly diagnosed patients?
Yes. That's what we try to do. And when that's why those profiles are helpful, because coaches will share. It just depends on the person, but some will share quite extensively about their myeloma journey, kind of the issues that they've had. And that's where you can start to see someone that would be a good match for you. Sometimes people want someone with the same type of myeloma, or, you know, someone that's had orthopedic issues. And so if you don't find that in those stories, that's where I encourage people to reach out to me, because then I can work to find a coach that is similarly matched to you as you desire. And that's what everyone's different. Some people everyone's different with what they're looking for. Some people want someone in their geographical area, and that sometimes can be helpful to speak to providers or things like that. Other people want someone with the same type or whatever it may be, who's experienced the same side effects, and we can do our best to work to find someone that's a good match.
Yeah, I think it's a good question because, you know, I think the answer highlights how unique this program is, that it really is self-guided. So whatever kind of coach you want to find, you can find. And again, like Ross said, if you can't find that person, reach out to us and we'll help you find that person, because we're really here just to help. And we want to make this as personal and as real of a journey as possible, where you can connect with people you really want to connect to. We're not trying to do any matchmaking or anything like that.
Right. And we had an experience just recently in the program where an individual connected with the coach, requested her, and as they were talking, she expressed to that coach she wanted to talk to someone with her same type of myeloma. And so then that coach reached out to the rest of the coaching group and was able to find a coach that did have that type, and then they connected. So we work, everyone's just really vested in helping individuals find the support that's right for them, really.
Yeah. So another question is, are those coaching profiles available like to the public, or are they within a private website?
That's a good.
I think people are concerned about sharing their data.
You bet. So you have to be registered with the program to view those profiles. So if you go to the coach website, myelomacoach.org, you won't see those profiles on our landing page. You would have to be registered as a patient. And then once you sign in, you can view all those profiles.
Awesome. I think, that's something that's come up over the years is what about, since it started really, is like just protecting the data and making sure that we're doing okay there. Something that I wanted to, as more questions come in, and we're getting lots of thank yous, Ross, so you really did do a great job. But as more questions come in, something that I wanted to bring up is, as you know, as part of the Myeloma Community program, we're always looking to build more chapters. And a lot of the chapters that are happening right now are geographical chapters. We have one in Southern California, we have one in the Intermountain region. But I get patients coming to us all the time, including coaches, saying, well, what about a geographical region in my area? And those are things that we really want to start. We want to build these chapters in geographical areas. So, for example, we're looking for groups we're looking to start a chapter in Arizona, and we're looking to start a chapter in the Northeast and United States. We're also looking to open chapters in Europe, because we have some coaches over there that are interested in getting chapters started. And for those of you who don't know what chapters are, they're basically groups support that provide support and information. They meet monthly, sometimes quarterly, and so it's just a support group, for lack of a better term. So if you're interested in that, we invite you to join the coach program as well. If you see yourself as, hey, we need something in this area and I'd like to start something, and whether you choose to meet virtually or face to face, that's also an option. And tell if you have myeloma friends that are interested.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to just tell the people that are here today about the Myeloma Coach program. Make sure you tell everybody about it, because, and Roz, maybe you can touch a little bit on this, but I feel like our mantra of this program is no one should face myeloma alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that we've talked about in the past. And just, I guess maybe if you could share with us, how do you feel like we live up to that mantra? The no one should face myeloma alone.
I think it's the personalization, and it's the connection. So to me, it's when people come into the program, and it's identifying those needs, and then whatever they are, helping them find it. Like I said, then the resources that are the best for them. And if it's connecting with a chapter, we connect them with chapters. And the coaches are just so well versed in the resources that are available. And so it's, one, knowing you can connect with someone personally. Two, knowing you are part of this community. And I think that's so helpful too, because it's so scary. Like we say, it's so scary and overwhelming, and you can just feel so alone in it. And so just knowing that you not only have one person you could call, you have this whole community. And if that person doesn't know the answer, they know someone, they'll work to find it, right? Because we are all part of this community helping each other. And to me, that's really empowering as well, and just helps us to take ownership and empower ourselves to really make the most of
Yeah.
where we're at, and that things can get better, and just this big cycle, right? Inspires hope and things. So
I love it. All right, we have a couple more questions. So one of them is, what happens if I sign up to be a coach but then decide it's not for me?
oh, that's completely fine. And things ebb and flow. I mean, because like we said, everyone that's involved is either a patient or a caregiver. And we know that life with myeloma is full of ups and downs. So there's a couple of options. So we have, and this happens all the time too, where coaches maybe have to take a break. And so we have an option where we can hide profiles from being public on the page. So say you're, I don't know, coaches have gone on vacation, or have had coaches have surgery and they need to take a break. And so we'll hide their profile from public view. And then when they've returned or they've recovered, I'll make it public again. Or if you sign up and you start going through the training or try some coaching and realize it's not for you, you can leave the program at any time. You're not tied to us. We initially ask, for a commitment of 8 hours a month for up to a year for some consistency. But if you find it's not for you, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
So it's completely flexible. And we're just grateful for individuals who are willing to volunteer and their time and effort.
Yeah. And so then the other question is to tell us a little bit more about the summit. You mentioned that for active involved coaches, there's a summit. Where is that? What is it? Kind of just
So the summit, we started this, our first year in 2019, after we launched the program, we decided we wanted to hold an annual summit to bring everyone together face to face. And so we provide that for the coaches and bring them in, and it's hosted at a resort in Park City, Utah, at the Deer Valley Resort. And it's so great. So in 2019, it was in person. And then last year, because of the pandemic, we pivoted and hosted a virtual summit, which was wonderful. This year, we're doing a hybrid type of event, but it's so great to bring everyone together in person where they can meet each other. And the coaches just loved being able to get to know one another. And like I said, we provide coach specific training to help you feel even more prepared to coach, prepare you with, provide you with those tools. And then we get to learn from myeloma specialists and get educated ourselves. And it's really, with coaching, I just see it as a win-win, because when you get involved with the coach program, you get training, and that training not only helps you as a myeloma patient or caregiver to be more informed, but then you turn around and share that with someone else. And so it's just, it impacts everyone in a beneficial way. So that's pretty great, I feel like.
Yeah. And something to add to that too, just how you're talking about that the coaches are so excited to see one another. I think something cool about our coaching program too is nobody starts off as the perfect coach, and you get to talk to other coaches about, what do you do in this situation, or what's your experience with this, or have you ever run into this before? And you get to talk to other coaches who have either just started their journey as well, so they can kind of share that experience with you, or they're veteran coaches that have been there since the program started, which obviously the program's not very old, but they have 2 years under their belt of coaching experience. So I think that's something to highlight as well, is no one has to even face their myeloma coaching experience alone, because they really are getting training and support and connection with other coaches as well as you, Roz, and you're amazing at what you do. So they're lucky.
You're so sweet. You're exactly right. And that's why we meet together monthly. So I bring everyone together monthly, where if they have questions for me, I'll share resources that have been helpful, pertinent resources, like timely resources. And then they'll bring questions to the table of, I have this situation. How have you dealt with that? Who could help me with this? Or I have a individual who needs this. Could anyone help them? And so we'll share and help that way. Something else to bring up too, you talk about just feeling up to it. And so that I explained the process of all the connections are made online. And what happens when you're a coach, if someone requests you, you get notified by email, and you have a coaching request, it'll give you the information, and then you have the option to either accept that request or decline it. So that's something to note as well, that you can decide yourself that, oh, I have time, I can do this, or no, I can't, and then I'll help that person find someone else. So that's important to note too. There's flexibility. It's doing what works for you and you being able to offer what you can when you can.
Yeah, awesome. We are going to be sending in our follow-up email after this event more information about the Myeloma Coach Program, how to sign up, when to sign up. Again, we'll be sharing the support number that you can call if you have any questions, on Roz's contact information, her email as well, so that you can contact her with any further questions that you have. And again, just tell your friends and your family about this Myeloma Coach Program, because it's not only for patients, but it's also for caregivers. It's also for family members that might be struggling with this new life, or even you've been in it for a couple years and there's still things to adapt to and there's still things to learn from. You know, you might be a year post-transplant and still having to face some consequences because of that. And so anyway, I digress, but just this program really is for anyone.
That's a good point, Audrey. And let's, because this isn't just for newly diagnosed. We talk a lot about that because it's so overwhelming, but we have individuals that will register to work with a coach that maybe were diagnosed 3-4 years ago. And we all know myeloma is this up and down journey, right? Where we maybe get to a place where we're feeling comfortable and then something else happens, or we change treatment, or who knows, things change in our family and it throws off our support or whatever it is. And so it's for anyone at any point along their myeloma journey.
Even if you're in remission, you know, we have people join who are in remission that because they want to know what happens when I relapse, you know, what are my options when I relapse? So it really is, you know, wherever you're at in your journey, feel free to please join us, because we'd love to have more people.
It's true. And it's just another tool, and everyone is figuring out what works for them, and they find support through their support group and that camaraderie, or, you know, you attend chapter events and get educated. And then if you find yourself just wanting to be able to talk to someone about things personally, that's where you can find it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Roz. We're going to close out now. Thank you for all who participated with your questions, and for all those that have said thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being here today and your time. As I said, I'm going to close out with some announcements. All right. Let me make sure. Okay. Always takes me a minute to get navigated. Thank you again, Roz, for those for that insight. And I even learned something new about Richard. That's so fun with this little raffle thing. I love it. Our next meeting in this Connect with the Myeloma Crowd Chapter will be on May 19th, 2021 at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to be talking about the program called HealthTree Cure Hub within the Myeloma Crowd by HealthTree. We're going to be talking about how to track your myeloma labs. So this is a question that we get a lot. There's so many tests run and so many doctors that you collaborate with that it can be complicated trying to keep track of everything. But by privately keeping and collecting your lab records and more within HealthTree Cure Hub, you are making your myeloma journey easier to handle and setting yourself up for success. So learn how to track these key myeloma labs by joining us next month. You may be interested in some other upcoming events that we have in the Myeloma Crowd Community program. Tomorrow on April 22nd will be our African American Myeloma chapter. We will be discussing real data of African Americans with Valerie Trainham. She's our chapter head and she is also a myeloma coach. Data from HealthTree Cure Hub was anonymously collected and analyzed, and we're excited to share the results and get the conversation going of how we can get closer to a cure. Tuesday, April 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern is our Nutrition and Wellness for Myeloma chapter. We will be discussing how to regulate your diabetes and improve your symptoms through nutrition. Dr. Mahima Gulati will be coming to discuss with us how nutrition has benefited her patients with diabetes in the past and to answer your questions. On Wednesday, April 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern is our Selenexor support group. Beth Ian will be sharing her myeloma story with us. She was diagnosed at a young age and with an aggressive myeloma ran out of options quite recently, but selinexor has been a miracle in her life as it's given her a new shot. The link to sign up for any of those events and even more events that I haven't mentioned today is found at the bottom of this slide and will be sent out in the follow-up email 24 to 48 hours after the end of this meeting. Again, another thank you to our sponsors, AbbVie, Bristol Myers Squibb, Amgen Oncology, Genentech, Karyopharm Therapeutics, Oncopeptides, Adaptive Biotechnologies, and Takeda Oncology. And thank you again for sharing this virtual time with us and growing our myeloma community. We appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Roz, and we hope that you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Thank you, everyone.